So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum again, and I'll put my timer on so that I can remain within 20 minutes to take you through the 20 years of our journey at SIUT. So, Dr. Mozam ne aapko, it's going to be bilingual, so I'm trying to keep it as much as English as possible, but I'll have to go into Urdu also because meri Angrezi utni mazboot nahi hai. So we started, so as Dr. Mozam said, our journey, some of it was visualized, conceptualized in the room next door. Some of it took place on the steps of the old medical school at the University of Virginia, where Dr. Mozam and I were having coffee from a brand that I will not mention now, but it was the favorite brand at that time. And that is when we were discussing that Adib Saab se milna hai, Adib Saab is coming, Anwar Saab is coming, and let's plan something, but what is it that we are thinking of? And so that is when our first brainstorming took place. I was at the university, I was at Harvard School of Public Health. I borrowed my brother's rundown, disused car and managed to drive to Charlottesville with the MapQuest maps printed out, guiding my way. There was no GPS, there was no phone at that time. So that's how I managed to get to Dr. Mozam's residence. And then we sat over here and we discussed. So, jo Boston mein guzri, that was a different thing. So when we met Adib Saab and his whole team in Boston, I remember so distinctly, Haynes Convention Center, and we were waiting downstairs, and there was this escalator full of people, and I could only recognize Adib Saab and Anwar Saab coming down, and they didn't know me. Of course, they knew Dr. Mozam. And we said we have a meeting with Adib Saab. Yes, sir. So the only question was, mujhko desi khana khana hai. Adib Saab ne ye kaha. So there was a food court next door, so we walked over there. And not only did Adib Saab and Anwar Saab and some couple of other SIUT people, there were about 40 people with him from all over the world. So there was a huge contingent that was walking with him. And I said, this is our first meeting taking place. But we walked over there, and Adib Saab reaches out in his pocket, gives me his wallet. He has never seen me in his life. In logon ke liye khana khareed lo, mujhko dal aur chawal chahiye. So I'm standing over there, and we are looking, but anyway, whatever, after that, with the meal or after the meal, he said, come and join. So I had no idea when I was going to my fellowship that I would be coming back somewhere else. I thought I was going back to AKU as a full-timer, but no, he said, come, join. Or June May, when I came over here in 2004, Adib Saab ke paas gaya. Adib Saab said that Anwar se mil lo. And Dr. Anwar, man of few words, he walked me from, we met in this particular hall, pre-functionary. He walked me over here behind this room to a locked door which was opened, which was full of storage. It was a storage area at that time. He said, ye sahi hai? So मैंने कहा, सर किस चीज़ के लिए सही है? So मैंने कहा, कमरे के लिए, ऑफिस के लिए? मैंने कहा, सर सही है. So this is okay. So he said, this is okay. I said, yes, this is okay. So we took over that room, and that's where the center started before its inauguration. I was there. Dr. Mozam was at Charlottesville finishing up her PhD. So this was the landscape at that time of bioethics in Pakistan. Stark, completely stark. So ye kaun aadmi hai? Who would go into this, right? Who would think of going into this kind of starkness except Dr. Mozam, and उनके साथ साथ मैं शामिल था. So both of us, we entered that place. और वो मैंने 20 साल पहले भी ये एक शेर, मुनीर न्यासी के 2 अशार हैं जो मैंने इस्तेमाल किए थे, पंजाबी ज़बान के हैं, मगर वो I think they sum up the situation then and they sum up the situation now, and let me just read them through. मुनीर न्यासी साहब कहते हैं, और हमारे लिए कहते हैं, कुछ उंच वी रावा औखिया सन, कुछ गल विच गम दा तौक वी सी. कुछ उंज वी रावा औखिया सन, कुछ गल विच गम दा तौक वी सी. कुछ शहर दे लोग भी जालिम सन, ते कुछ सनू मरन दा शौक वी सी. So the last misra fit us Completely. Saru maranda hi shauk tha कि मैं वो surgery छोड़ छाड़ के I just came over here and Dr. Bozam, after doing her PhD, comes to a completely different environment of a public sector environment from working in private sector all her life, very organized, etc. And we are sitting over here with a dream that this might start happening. थोड़ा सी तो हरियाली आ जाएगी ना इस जगह के ऊपर, थोड़ी सी हरियाली. सो डॉक्टर मौज़म भी इसके बारे में बात करी थी और शायद आना शुरू हो चुकी है, मगर अभी भी बहुत बंजर ज़मीन है. सो देयर इज स्टिल लॉट टू बी डन, बट दिस वाज आवर ड्रीम. सो आई स्टार्टेड ऑफ with Dr. Mozam in bringing up this concept paper for CBEC in 2000, this was 2004, to present to Dr. Rizvi with a list of things that we will be doing, and etc. etc. And Nadeep Saab looks at it, glances at it, doesn't look, glances at it, says, "हाँ, शुरू करो, start." You know, I obviously he never read anything, and he just started. क्या चाहिए? So क्या चाहिए? And he provided everything, and we started. This is the faith, leap of faith. Yeah. So this is the faith that he had, and so this is my little office behind this particular wall at that time, sparsely populated, sparsely furnished, but that's where the start was. 14.4 kbps ka internet and computer, and I used to bring my own chai. So that's, and the pedestal fan, because the AC, which was not connected to the AC at that time. So that's how we started, humble beginnings. And then we got our official inauguration on the 8th of October. The then director, chairman of the Higher Education Commission, Dr. Ataur Rahman, was the chief guest. You can see in the picture, along with Dr. Mozam, you have Professor Adib Rizvi, and we have Dr. Paul Lombardo. So Paul Lombardo was the keynote speaker at that time also. So his association with the center has been since its inception. So the first litmus test of this, what was ahead of us, was through our first conference, Foundations of Moral Thought, from the Greeks to Contemporary Bioethics. Dr. Mozam was again abroad, I was over here, and we were coordinating. Then she arrived for the conference as well. So we had a tremendous response to that, and there are people sitting in this audience. Shaukat Javed Saab is one of them, who actually attended this conference. आँख खोल देने वाली conference थी ये हमारे लिए कम से कम. So we had a very solid course faculty as well from all over the world. Professor Renee Fox from the University of Pennsylvania, Dr. Abdulaziz Sachedina from the University of Virginia, Professor Jonathan Marino, again from the University of Virginia. Then Mazur Ahmed Saab, our own very own from the Karachi University. He's been a solid backer for our centers from the very beginning. Javed Ghamdi Sahab, then Dr. Judith Swayze from Boston University School of Medicine, Dr. Haytham Al-Hayat from EMRO. So there was a solid faculty coming for the first time to do such a conference, and it was packed for all the days. And then our program also launched, the first master's diploma in bioethics in 2006, and Dr. Mozam can teach using anything. So the tide turns was the headline in Dawn, and she used that. The tide turns, and the tide did start turning in our class. ये क्या पढ़ा रही हैं? And it was such an engaging conversation that that was happening. This shows Dr. Mozam is not a morning person. Right. So yeah. So this is a morning class happening, and she's during the modules. She's a completely different person. So this is the module, first initial days, and she's using all sorts of teaching methodologies. So. So this is again sitting in the same room behind this wall, our old CBEC with Adib Saab, Dr. Anwar Naqvi, and Professor Richard Cash from the Harvard School of Public Health, and our first batch of students, informal but educational. So the education was seeping through all areas at that time, and as it continues to do so now. We had this gully right there, which we converted into a computer lab, and we've got students over there, and Dr. Mozam again, engaging with them. This was an online course that they were supposed to be taking. Mazur Saab, as I mentioned, would be coming here very frequently during those days and teaching, engaging with us, and engaging with our students, etc. We also had moral games. So this is Professor Mala Ramanathan from Trivandrum, India. Those were the days when they could actually come to Pakistan, and they would come for our modules. And this is a gender walk that is taking place. People are given various gender roles and then given opportunities and how far they can progress in life. This was an excellent interactive session. So we will be having these kind of sessions, using these kind of sessions all the time. So this is the culmination of the program in which the graduates, the results have not been announced, by the way, up till now. So the people who think that they'll be graduating are all invited to Dr. Muazzam's place with this banister-less staircase in which they sit, they're holding their breaths while we take their picture. And year after year. So ये एक झोंके की तरह आते हैं हमारे students, and झोंके की तरह चले जाते हैं ताकि वो शायद खुशबू कहीं और लेके चले जाएं और वो पता चलेगा, we'll talk about the खुशबू जो जहाँ जहाँ फैली है. मगर ये झोंका जो आता है और चला जाता है, वो साथ हमारा क्या हाल बनता है, वो इस शेर में मेरी अम्मा ने सही कहा है कि गुल पे क्या कुछ बीत गई है, अलबेला झोंका क्या जाने. और ये बहुत से झोंके बैठे हुए हैं हमारे, और कुछ आने वाले झोंके भी बैठे हुए हैं. और वो हम पे जो क्या बीतती है वो तो हम ही जानते हैं साहब. 2009, so apart from me, everybody else is the same. This is the first batch of the diploma master students now, that we started the master's program now. And we knew that in order for our program to be sustained and to thrive, we need to develop our own faculty. And all of them are engaged in bioethics. All of them are, I'm assuming that at least, apart from me, 2 more people are over here in the room also. And as you can see, Dr. Bushra Shirazi, taking a session, teaching after having graduated, etc. But her involvement with the center predates the diploma and of course predates her formal inclusion into the faculty now that she is a full-time over here in SIUT. She's been working pro bono for donkey's years in bioethics. Bioethics doesn't pay anything, and she knew that. So she was here all the time for many, many years, devoting hours of her work, of her time as a honorary person. And then, of course, it became a little more formal, and now she's taken over. The surgical aspects as well as much of the bioethics aspects. And you've got Ms. Anika Khan, the first non-surgical, non-physician, non-doctor person who came into our program and then joined our faculty also. So this is, I think, one step forward that the CBEC could take these steps forward only because our alumni were actually joining our effort. 2011 saw a different flavor emerging in bioethics. So in our sessions, we were teaching in Urdu, basically. We were all very comfortable in teaching in Urdu and learning in Urdu. But now we got an application from Africa, from someone we didn't even know, Dr. Elizabeth Bukusi from the Kenya Medical Research Institute, who happened to be the deputy director, so a senior person. And so why would she be interested in bioethics? But she was, and she came, and not only did she come, she also started a whole series of Kenyans coming from her institute and elsewhere, as Dr. Muazzam showed in the slide, that we've actually got not only a footprint all across Pakistan, we've got a pretty substantial footprint in Africa as well, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So you can see her talking with Dr. Jim Dwyer, one of our faculty, and the gifts that we used to get, the tapestry, beautiful colors, etc. So that's another flavor that we've, so another weave that came into the whole fabric of bioethics at CBEC. But rain, hail or snow, we will continue, as is our motto. So it was, whether it's the roof leaking or the barish outside, you can see Shahzad hard at work with a bucket to collect and also an umbrella. This is real. This is not made up. So that was, after that he grew a beard. Yeah. So it was 10 years, and we said we have to do something to look forward and backwards. So we had an external review. Clinical departments all over the world have been having external reviews to see their direction, their trajectory, etc. However, there was no mention in written literature of any bioethics center having a review. So, but we said we'll go ahead, and this picture depicts the people who came from across the world. Adib Saab se baat ki, Adib Saab said, absolutely, go ahead, call anyone you need. So we had Dr. Richard Cash coming in from Boston. We had Dr. Mala Namanathan and Amar Jasani from India. Amar Jasani is the chief editor of the Indian Journal of Medical Ethics, and Mala Ramanathan is a sociologist from Trivandrum. We had Dr. Okay. So we had Dr. Asim Ahmed is standing right here, sitting right here. He was there from the internal reviewers. We had Dr. Rizwan Azmi from CPSP. We had Dr. Akhtar from PMRC at that time, and Alex, Dr. Capron from the University of Singapore. He was from Singapore at that time. Alistair Campbell was there. So these were people who interviewed the faculty, they interviewed students, they interviewed our alumni, they looked at our documents, and they came up with a list of recommendations. And we presented that list of recommendations to Adib Saab, and Adib Saab said, kar lo. So one thing that wo karne ka kaha tha, there was one thing that, you people are very thinly spread. There are too few faculty and too few staff and too little space for what you're doing. So the first thing we did was hire, of course, we published this experience in the journal, the experience of a new kind, external review of a bioethics center. And then we hired our research person. This is Swaliha Shikhani, जिसपे दस्ते शफ़क़त डॉक्टर मौज़म का आप देख सकते हैं. हाँ, उसके पीछे क्या था वो हम नहीं बताएंगे. There was a little corner in this corridor, the last corner over there, in which we put her there in the desk, and of course nicely made that place up, and she was very happy to start contributing, and she's done a lot. Since then, she has emerged from that corner. She's now assistant professor at the center, and has acquired utility not only at CBEC, but beyond CBEC within the SIUT circles, which I will not mention right now. But she has been very useful for many departments. She's also now spread her wings into the South Asian diaspora, where she is interacting with the early career researchers and bringing in language and thoughts that were not so much used in CBEC at that time. So this is a great investment. They also, the reviewers told us to move to a larger place, and Adib Saab said, jao. So with Naqvi Saab ke paas bhijwa diya, and Anwar Saab said, okay, so let's look at which floor would be best for you. So he said, take the 7th floor in the new building. And so we said, why the 7th floor? Because it has a terrace. And he had a plan. So he had a terrace, and it was a fantastic plan. So not only did we take the 7th floor, we also took the terrace. So this is Adib Saab with Anwar Saab and Dr. Altaf Hashmi visiting the new center with Dr. Mozam taking them around. And this is a session on the 14th of August, which is our national day and a holiday for everyone except CBEC, because we are in SIUT. So because it was a module at that time, our clinical ethics module, we have our faculty from, guest faculty from Sydney, Dr. Paul Kimisarov, who was also waving the Pakistani flag and having a Pakistani hat on. And we were all smiles at that time. The smiles were only for the camera, otherwise there were no smiles. Yeah. So, but we continued to work. So this is the new center. But we've been outside the center as well. So Dr. Mozam has been on the streets with us. I was, of course, the cameraman, and she was the person holding the banner along with Dr. Bushra in various campaigns that have taken us, when it required, taken us out also. So Dr. Mozam has mentioned about our connection with Kenya. So we had at one point 1/3 of our graduates were now from Africa, which was a large number, and we were also concerned that we are then taking fewer people from Pakistan. So we needed to establish them at their center also. And so we, along with KEMRI, KEMRI is Kenya Medical Research Institute, it's like our PMRC, which is also called now the PHRC, which is now called the PHI. or FHI, HRI. But it's huge. It's a much, much larger organization in Kenya. So we applied for a grant from NIH, FIC, National Institutes of Health, US, Fogarty International Center, and we were funded, even though we are poles apart, as you can see. But we were funded, and as Dr. Moazzam has shown some data, the idea was to replicate what we were doing in Karachi in Kenya, and we've been able to do that in the first cycle to some extent. In the second cycle, the certificate courses, the diploma, the certificate courses are continuing. The diploma, the masters have started in 2 universities, so that's a big step forward, and we are helping support them in pedagogy, in assessments, in various other fashions as well, both physically as well as remotely. So this has happened. And Kenya has its benefits. So you can see our group along with Dr. Moazzam posing over there. You can see Bushra over here teaching the session or pretending to teach, but you can see who's actually driving the class right now. And here you have Nida again teaching to a class in Kenya. So it had some benefits, also other benefits also. So we got our own faculty that was teaching in Karachi to go to Nairobi. We've got Dr. Richard Cash, Dr. Asim is over right over here, Dr. Amar Jasani, Mala Ramanathan, and we have our own alumni who've graduated from our own programs going to Kenya, spending time over there to look at their systems as far as research ethics was concerned. So this was a fantastic opportunity for this. And of course, not to mention our close encounters with zebras and giraffes and everything else. That was, again, a fantastic experience, and Dr. Bushra has partaken of this several times, of safaris and hot air balloons and everything. I did not take these pictures on the slideshow. Okay, so another thing that we've been doing, because we haven't been very busy as it is, as you can see, is we've been doing video productions. We have made 13 videos, and this is because when we started off initially, we had these we were using videos to teach, but the accent, the situations and everything else was very different. People could not relate to them. So we said we need desi videos. We need videos that are within our own context in our own language. So we started off with a very small budget initially. And of course, all the budget has been coming from SIUT to make these videos. And we had Dr. Sharjeel Baloch, who has been the director, the producer, we're the producer, so he's the director, he's also the editor, and everything else that to be done with that. You can see over here Dr. Bushra with the boom mic. So sometimes we have Dr. Bushra on the camera also, and Dr. Moazzam directing, and the director outside of the room in frustration. So this has also happened several times. Yeah. So you've got Dr. Naqi Zafar as a actor, and Arsalan. So you've got this is Nida, Roti Banari for an outdoor shoot. So all of these sessions have. Movies have focused on ethical issues that are pertinent to our situations. And these videos, these 13 videos, have been used all over the world. So we've had multiple responses from India. We have had people using them in US, people using them in Sri Lanka. As far as Japan, they just write to us that we used it because they're all subtitled, and they actually have found them very useful. So we also started an internship program formally now in the past couple of years, in which we had take high school kids and during their holidays, bring them over to CBEC, and you can see Farid bin Masood, our youngest faculty, who connects very well with our students and is taking them through a week of this. So this is a formal program that we have done, but before even starting this, we started this informally also, and we had the first person who actually came in from the US to spend some time at CBEC, and then we gave her some sort of a background in ethics, and she thought of a research project we actually completed with our help. Swaliha was helping her going through that, and she published this actually. This was Dalia Rizvi. She published this article in the Bioethics and Adolescence, a comparative analysis of students' views, etc. And this she presented this at the IAB, International Association of Bioethics meeting, and also was able to publish it in a peer-reviewed journal. So this is another little feather that we think is in our cap. Our research has been very formally progressing. It's, you can see Dr. Zaman who's sitting in the audience over here, is a clinical psychologist, along with Dr. Muazzam, interviewing people in the study that we published, Conversations with Kidney Vendors in Pakistan. This was published in the Hastings Center. We've had various different publications in different areas. Dr. Muazzam covered why women go to medical colleges but fail to practice medicine, which is a burning question for everyone. We've written about, of course, about indigenizing bioethics, the first center of bioethics in Pakistan. We wrote this many years ago. And fighting COVID, the 19 pandemic, a socio-cultural insight. So many other studies, but I'm just giving a snapshot of what we've been doing. We've had recognition, clearly. We've had good recognition across the world. WHO had been actually asking us to become a collaborative center of bioethics, and we said we're too busy. And but they persisted, and then we agreed, and we actually were designated the first collaborative center of bioethics in this EMRO, in the entire region of EMRO. And this was a ceremony that was held on this very stage, in which they presented us with this flag when they designated us as a CC, and they took the flag away because they don't give the flag. Yeah, so we said, "Koi baat nahi, hamare paas darzi bahut pade, hum bana lenge apna." So, anything that Dr. Muazzam achieves is an achievement for the center. So in 2012, Dr. Muazzam was honored by an honorary doctorate from the University of Zurich in recognition of her foundational contributions towards ethics and organ transplantation in Pakistan. So this was a surprise event that we organized. The three of us that organized, myself, along with Dr. Nadeem Khurshedi and Dr. Muhammad Arshad. We organized this, invited everyone who, without Dr. Muazzam knowing this. It was a great surprise. So this was just to recognize her achievement and also our happiness at this achievement. But Dr. Muazzam said that it's been 10 years and there has been no party, so we should have another party. So she was honored with the prestigious Bioethics Founders Award by the Hastings Center last year, and then we organized another party on the terrace upstairs, and you can see Dr. Deep Rizvi and others, and the many people who were in the first 10-year thing also. So in 2032, please be ready for the third, because it happens every decade, inshallah. So the recognition has been within Pakistan also. Here you can see the two madams, Dr. Muazzam, Badi Madam, and Dr. Bushra, Choti Madam, at the Trauma Center. You can see us, Dr. Muazzam and myself, at Khyber Medical University. This was many years ago. And our linkage with Khyber has continued till now also. We've actually got a workshop this year with them in May. So here you have Dr. Bushra teaching in Quetta, with Dr. Muazzam managing the whiteboard. However, you know who's teaching. Yeah. Here, I'm very delighted with this picture. You've got 3 alumni in Haripur in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where no bioethics conference has ever taken place. This is under the auspices of KMU, but this was funded by our KEMRI program, because we have a Pakistani footprint of the KEMRI program also, and the CKBTI program. And you've got Dr. Amjad, who's sitting over here. He'll be talking a little bit later. You've got Dr. Natasha, again, one of the alumni, and sitting here and will be giving a talk also, and Swaliha Shekhani. So when you've got your alumni teaching and taking the thing forward, I was just a cameraman, and I had gone there because I wanted to go to Shinkyari top in a battered down jeep. But so you know that you've accomplished something if you can actually pass the baton forward. So that was and this is happening all the time now. So this is another very eventful situation. This was Qatar last year when they had the International Association of Bioethics meeting over there. So this picture shows not only CBEC folks, but also folks from AKU, involved in bioethics, and from a representation from Lahore, from Shalimar, when they have a bioethics diploma program over there. So everybody is, we were all involved in this particular event. This was a great picture which brings many people from bioethics together. So this is in Yogyakarta in Indonesia, University of Gajah Mada, and you got alumni, myself, This is the Borobudur temple, which we were able to visit. We left at 4 in the morning so that we could catch the sunrise, which was spectacular, and got back at 9 a.m. to have to join the conference. Dr. Moazzam refused. She is not an early morning person, but it was fantastic. This is India, Pune, in which when we could actually get there, this was a National Bioethics Conference in which they were honoring Professor Adib Rizvi for the Lifetime Achievement Award. And we've got a whole bunch of people. You can see Dr. Rizvi, you can see Dr. Moazzam, Alistair Campbell, Sanjay Lagral, our host, Mala. So, and I thought I would take a quick selfie at that time. Yeah. So this is Amritsar. I've never had a workshop over there, but we were stuck across the border on the way back because the border closes. So we were in Amritsar and we said make the most of it. So the Golden Temple is a fantastic place. This is one of the holiest shrines of the Sikh religion. And here we are with, you can see Nida, you can see Aamir, who's sitting in the audience over here, and Swaleha. And properly hair covered, we were going to enter the temple. This was a fabulous experience we would never have had we not been able to cross the border over there. So Dr. Moazzam has also been having her own fun. You can see clearly. Yeah, so you can see, and you can see that the snowball is actually glowing. Yeah, and the glow lasts until it melts. Yeah, I don't know whether somebody was hit with this or not, but certainly Dr. Moazzam was having a great time with that. So this is the Indian border in which we had Alistair and Sally Campbell. We had Leo Di Castro, who unfortunately passed away last year. They had come, we had organized a meeting in Lahore, and they were there, and we took them to the Wagah border to witness the show. So, but you can see who the most popular person here is, clearly. So Dr. Paul Lombardo, we're involved in a selfie, some students, international students, and of course Dr. Bushra and Miss Anika, sitting with Loretta and our dedicated staff, Loretta and Michelle, in the terrace that I was just mentioning, that Dr. Anwar said that Qabza kar lo, and that's what we've done. So this is a rare moment that they were enjoying outside in good weather. Of course, we've had a little mascot. The mascot and our Christmas tree have both grown together. However, the tree has outgrown the indoor, and we'll have to figure out how we will do it next time. So these are the two people who've taken things forward for us. And this is that has only happened because they have clicked and they have been on the same page. And this is the old CBEC, and this is the same thing that's happening today. Of course, we were celebrating our birthday, but here is the person in the middle, Professor Anwar Naqvi, who's actually been the link of CBEC with SIUT. Every new event, every new initiative, we'll go to him and he'll fix things. He'll say, okay, without too many words, without too much time, he would make things happen. And we've been missing you, sir, for for the past few months, but it is fantastic how he can just make things happen. So we owe a lot to him. And this is again short of our terrace, the terrace that he said in his foresight, don't take the 14th floor, take the 7th floor. And he was right about that. So this is empty shelves 20 years ago, Paul Lombardo Sahab, Adib Sahab and myself. And this is now. The shelves have filled up. My scalp has become less so filled, and my brain even less, but the other things have not changed at all. So, mashallah. So we are continuing, and much has been accomplished. What else can be done after this? You've got your whole alumni, you've got your whole clan over there. This is the culmination of any academic program that we've been able to achieve, alhamdulillah, at SIUT through this program. So here is Dr. Moazzam. At the end of just 20 years, looking ahead, we have to build our own way forward even now. There's no highway forward. Every step has to be thought through. Every step has to be built forward. And वो कह रही हैं कि अब क्या आगे क्या है, क्या सिलसिला है। एंड हिम्मत जो उनकी उनको यहाँ तक लेके आई, तो एक शेर था जो मेरे जहन में आया था, बड़े ताबां बड़े रोशन सितारे टूट जाते हैं, बड़े ताबां बड़े रोशन सितारे टूट जाते हैं, सहर की राह तकना ता सहर आसान नहीं होता। इन्होंने सहर तक पहुँचाया है, तो शी ब्रॉट अस टू द सहर, रात गुजार के पूरी सहर तक पहुँचाया है और टूटी नहीं है। एंड शी इज़ लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड कि अब कैसे आगे जाना है, तो अगले 20 साल डॉक्टर मौज़म आप बताइए। बट दैट इज़ वेयर वी आर। आई थॉट दिस इज़ द पॉइंट व्हेन आई शुड एंड माय टॉक। थैंक यू वेरी मच।